Tara, you were at Howard Beach chasing a horrific story, the tragic assault and murder of a young woman just out for an evening jog. What do you got?
Yeah, Bill, it's exactly, it kind of paints the picture of it's a beautiful day, and I'm out here covering the story of a beautiful young lady whose life was cut short Tuesday night in Queens. I'm in Howard Beach, where police discovered the body of 30-year-old Karina Vetrano deep in the marshes you see behind me. She had left for a jog from her 84th Street home nearby at around 5 p.m. And at around 7 p.m., when she couldn't be reached, her father contacted authorities. After a massive search by police, her body was found less than a half mile from her home by cops who believe she was sexually assaulted and strangled. I came out to the scene here where I met with retired NYPD detective Joe Giacalone. His initial thoughts were about her. Actually, he said right now, not only do we need to be focused on the suspect or suspects involved, but on the victim's life story, something that detectives term victimology. First initial thought.
Well, most people are murdered by someone they know, so investigators are actually going to take two-pronged approach on this one, though, because it happens in a marshy area. They're going to have to also think that the stranger might be involved, too. They're going to find out who the victim was, if they had any ex-boyfriends, and they're going to be searching their social media sites and see if there's been any threats or emails that have been going back and forth.
We're expecting results, I'm told, by the detectives on the scene from the medical examiner's office in a mere hours. But for now, the neighborhood is reacting to the tragedy. I spoke to two young ladies who came to check out the scene as a team.
We live in a pretty safe neighborhood, I would say, so it's really frightening to think that something like this could happen.
I'm a runner myself, Bill. I go for jogs around the same time in New York City daily. So I got my sneakers on and I took a path nearby just to see sort of what her last moments might have been like and to trace the path of a killer in this notorious neighborhood, this tight-knit, notorious Howard Beach neighborhood where, as you recall, was home to the Gottis.
I mean, you said, you're a runner, you're out there all the time. Have you ever felt afraid running through New York, running through some of the jogging paths?
You know, I don't, Bill, but the thing is, I live in Manhattan where there is actually a blue light line along the Hudson River. This area, it's really important to know, Giacalone and I walked across the street, some maybe 20 feet from here. Joe actually noted that there was a crime here last year where two bodies were badly burned and thrown into the marsh, and the only reason people found them was because the fire department responded to a fire. So if you are going to dispose of a body, he says it's a good place to do it, and maybe it's a very dangerous place to be running.
Waking up and hearing this story, my heart just fell. I mean, here's a beautiful young woman who just celebrated a birthday, had a bright future ahead of her, and it's sad that, her father right now, who you could see from her pictures was a huge part of her life, now has to live with such agony, such pain.
I'm a runner, and I've been approached by a man in broad daylight alone. The feeling in my gut was horrible. My heart was racing. I was shaking by the time I got home. He told me that he'd seen me run that route several times, asked me on a date, and then left. But I felt like I couldn't ever run that route ever again.
In a late-breaking update to this case, the medical examiner's office has confirmed in the case of Karina Vetrano, cause of death, homicide by strangulation.